Okay. Everyone please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just want to explain that Dr. Bond is not here. He had triple bypass surgery a week and a half ago, so he is here by phone, so he says. So he is doing well. He is at home recuperating, but he, thank goodness, he got good health care here, and Dr. Nelson operated on him, and he's doing well. So that being said, we'll go to reading of closed session summary for executive session for September 12th and the 15th.
Yes. The Allegheny County Board of Education met in closed session on September 12th, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. here at Central Office. The purpose of the closed session was to consult with legal counsel, to discuss personnel matters, and to engage in administrative function. All 5 board members were present, and the vote to go into closed session was unanimous. The topics discussed were superintendent's evaluation and criminal proceeding for trespass. The authority to close that was under 305B of the General Provisions article of the Maryland Annotated Code. The board met in closed session again on September 15th, 2023 at 9 a.m. here at Central Office. The purpose of that closed session was to consult with legal counsel. All 5 board members were present, and the vote to go into closed session was unanimous. The topic discussed was open meetings compliance, and the authority to close is found in Section 305B7 of the General Provisions article.
Okay.
Yep.
We now move into consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Bender?
Second.
Ms. Lepley? All those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you, sir. Unanimous? Superintendent's report.
At this time, we're going to recognize the Shining Star Awards. So I'm going to ask Sean and Jill if they wanted to come forward.
All right, hello, I'm Jill Frediska, and I'm the chair of the Allegheny County Special Education Citizens Advisory Committee and a parent of a student in special education in the school system. CCAC's mission is to provide information to develop knowledge, attitudes, and skills needed by families, educators, and other professionals and community members to enable individuals with disabilities to have the maximum opportunity to become fully participating members of their home, school, work, and community. Our vision is to facilitate communication and collaboration between families, educators, administrators, and community leaders to enhance services available for students with disabilities and advocate for positive changes in special education services within the Allegheny County Public School System. In order to be a member of the committee, you must live or work in Allegheny County, and it can include being a parent or guardian of student with special education needs and requirements, persons with special knowledge or interest concerning special education, students with special education needs and requirements, local special education support or advocacy groups, teachers, staff, and administrators with an interest in special education. The committee meets virtually once a year. Usually the meetings are about an hour and usually from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. You can see the following proposed meeting dates. We've already had one in September, and there'll be one December 11th, March 11th, and June 10th. You can also follow the group on Facebook and get more information for updates and meeting reminders. Okay. So now we would like to, at this time, we would like the following recipients of the 2022-2023 Shining Star Awards to please step forward. Stephanie Scaletta-Wagley from South Penn, Ashley Bothus from Bel Air, Wes Haynes and Karen Reiser from Bus 150, Thomas Kutcher from Washington, Michelle Most from Westmar, and Jennifer Miller from Allegany. This is the first year for the Shining Star Award. We did it because we wanted to try to spread some positive news throughout the school system, and we were just looking to showcase those people that are just doing an exceptional job for special education in the schools. We sent out a Google form and we sent it to staff. We also gave it to parents, and we received back 83 responses. We were really happy with the amount of responses, and through that we chose actually 7 winners. It was 6 groups of winners, the 2 for Bus 150, 2 elementary, 2 middle, and 1 high school recipient. They each received a $100 gift card and a certificate, and now we're going to look at each of their nominations individually. Our first was our elementary school award winners. First off was Stephanie Scaletta Wagley from South Penn. She was nominated by the parent of the student that she works with each day, and that parent made special note that she goes out of her way to see that his needs are met. She also went out of her way to make sure Down Syndrome World Day was extra special for him. She's full of good-heartedness, and this parent says she can rest easy on a daily basis knowing that her son is in her care and that she will take care of him. Our second recipient was Ashley Bothus from Bel Air, who was nominated by her administrator. She says Ashley goes above and beyond in her duties as a close adult support to provide success to the students she services. She assures that IEP goals are met and offers important and effective feedback. She is extremely dedicated. Then we had Wes Haynes and Karen Reiser, who are on Bus 150. Wes and Karen have the very difficult job of being a bus driver and aide for special education bus. Bus 150 is responsible for transporting children with intense needs. These children are in regionalized special programs, so they oftentimes are on the bus for an extended period of time. Both Wes and Karen are so patient and understanding. They do everything in their power to be kind and meet children's needs, and they are appreciated by all staff. Our middle school award winners, first up is Thomas Kutcher from Washington. He was nominated by a parent who stated that he has provided her child with a positive, safe, and encouraging middle school experience as a 6th grader. He is a trusted adult who looks out for the physical and emotional well-being of his students. He is great when it comes to communication, and through his effect on her child, she feels her child has found confidence and courage in attending school because he is such a kind, thoughtful, and hardworking teacher who believes in him. Our second middle school winner was Michelle Most from Westmar, who was nominated by several of her fellow staff members. They all had very similar things to say about Michelle, that she goes above and beyond for her students who have IEPs. She not only cares about their education, but she truly cares about them as a person, and she makes sure their basic needs are met. She helps prepare all of her students for their future by helping them in class, tutoring after school, and pulling small groups for instruction. She often stays at school long after hours to work on lessons and instructional aids for her students. She cares for them as individuals, and she is selfless and willing to do anything in her power to help them succeed in school and in life. And finally, we have our high school award winner, which is former CPAC chair, Miss Jennifer Miller from Allegany. She was nominated by one of her fellow staff members and a parent. They praised her for her reorganization of the unified sports team, and that she teaches not only academics but life skills and goals as well. Her child has thrived since being at Allegany with Miss Miller. So they've seen a sparkle in her daughter's eyes that wasn't there before Miss Miller. And she is always there sharing pictures of her daughter playing bocce ball, unified track, and she is very open with communication. These staff members are not only shining stars in special education, but across the entire school system. We thank you for your heart, dedication, and commitment to providing the best services possible. And from a parent's point of view, we appreciate you more than you know.
Ms. For this, I'd like to take a moment just to recognize and thank the committee for all their hard work. Stepping out to recognize the people who make a big difference for our students in Allegany County. We can't do too much, and with your committee being able to do this is an outstanding night. And congratulations to our employees as always. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Instructional update, Dr. Eric Ganslight.
Good evening, distinguished members of the board, Mr. Blank, Ms. Robertson. Thank you for allowing me to highlight some of the things that are going on with environmental literacy in Allegany County. We are required under COMAR to have an environmental literacy program in our schools. So I handle the secondary 6 to 12 schools. So you can see some of the projected numbers for students that are going to be participating in environmental literacy programs this year. Each middle school class is around 600. And then there's 566 students enrolled in Earth Space Science this year, 614 in Chemistry and Matter and Energy, and then the Envirothon is always hit or miss. We have 10 to 12 teams usually for 50 to 60 students. So about over 3,000 students will be involved in environmental literacy out of the 4,000 or so secondary students. So it's 3/4 of the students will be involved in environmental literacy somehow. So in 6th grade, we offer a one-day field trip to Evergreen Heritage Center in Rocky Gap. The students study what's called the phenomenon of water. So it aligns with the NGSS standards and the curriculum they learn in Earth Science in 6th grade. In 7th grade, we run our commuter outdoor school program. It's a 2.5-day program, 2 days at Rocky Gap and a half day in the schoolyard. Alice Ferguson Foundation from Accokeek, Maryland comes up and runs the program for us. And they do talking trash in the schoolyard on the half day. And then in 8th grade, the students go to the Evergreen Heritage Center again, and they do a program on exploring energy, which again aligns with the curriculum. The high school Earth Science students go to Evergreen as well. They study it's called What Lies Beneath. It's rocks and minerals. It aligns to their curriculum. And then AP Environmental students have the availability of doing a one-day program, again, with Alice Ferguson Foundation at Rocky Gap. And the teachers sign up for that on their own. The Evergreen Heritage Center is again involved in the Chemistry and Matter and Energy program. They come into the schools for 2 days, and they work directly in the classrooms and outdoors. They do fertilizers and water testing on site on the campuses. And then we have at the end of the year the Envirothon. We usually do a training here at the beginning of November, and then we'll have the event at Rocky Gap in the spring. Again, last year we had 12 teams, so 60 students. The team from Allegany called the Flower Rangers took 2nd in the state. They were only 2 points behind the winner. And that's tough to do because some of the schools that participate aren't just public schools, they're magnet schools and they have it in their curriculum. So there's a really good group of kids. And I think most of them were juniors last year, so hopefully they'll do well again this year. And then the last thing I want to highlight is that our Green Schools program, we have all of our secondary schools, all the middle schools and all the high schools and the Career Center are green. Allegany High School is a sustainable school. They started in around 2000 with Al Hammond, and they're now sustainable. And we have 3 of them that are recertifying this year again. So the Career Center, Fort Hill, and Westmar will recertify to be green schools this year. So that is the environmental literacy program that I have. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to thank you for leading the program, for our students to be able to go out and get hands-on and actually physically do all these different things. Outstanding experience for our kids, so thank you for leading that for us.
Absolutely.
And I do have one question. I'm sorry. What was the most exciting that you saw this year? I know you can't be everywhere, but I know you're hit or miss. Was there one certain activity that you
Well, I actually got to participate with outdoor school with elementary this year. My daughter.
Oh, so you're at the 5th grade.
I was actually able to go there.
Okay.
So that's an amazing experience. I know Mike's going to talk about that next month at the board meeting, but that was amazing. We had a great week. It was going through the bog and doing the swamp and things. It's just the kids just come out of their shells. So
Yeah.
that was amazing.
That was the highlight of my elementary school experience.
Yeah, it's really it's a roller coaster of emotions. Kids are crying one time and laughing the next. It's really a great program. The things that canoeing and fishing and things that some of these kids have never done before. So I'm talking about Mike's program, but it was really good program.
And Alex, I'll share with you, I went to outdoor school, so that's how long. Oh yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
I didn't realize
Wow.
that
Look,
it-
now I'm getting perfect.
I believe the elementary program, and Mike can answer this, but I believe it started in 1974, and then was on hold for a little bit of time because of just managing the program. And so now we have adult volunteers that go up and stay overnight in the cabins with the kids, which is the only reason we're able to still do it. So again, I'm talking about Mike's program. But
I hate to ask you off the subject, but I've heard that Mount Savage is going to redo, I think they had a nature trail
Yes.
or something beside the school. I think Ken Hodgkin put it in, and I don't want to tell you how long ago that was, and I remembered. But do you know anything about that?
Well, actually, that's my son is in Boy Scouts and is thinking about that for his Eagle project. So he's been
Okay.
talking to the school about that.
Great.
So, and then they're doing a ton of stuff. Matt Klein's amazing down there, and I know Westmore's going to piggyback on some of that stuff too. But Matt Klein has bees. He has beehives up on the old tennis courts.
We got some.
Yeah, we got
honey.
some honey
Yeah.
and stuff for
Yeah.
the presentation here.
He has chicken coop outside the school. They had incubators in every elementary school. I think they had over 300 chickens hatched last year, and they were giving away chickens to everyone. And then he has a garden there. He has the greenhouse. He does aquaculture, so he has fish that feed the plants and plants that feed the fish.
We had them here, and they presented.
Yeah.
I don't know that the board's aware of the trees that you put in at the end of last year.
Yeah, well, and this year too. We have one slated to come in this year. So we had 3 plantings last year. We did a planting at Allegany High School. We put in some trees around the front. Unfortunately, we put them along the stadium, and they wanted them moved because they're going to put bleachers in there. So they were moved. They're still on campus to try to bring some trees back to that campus. And then we put in, I think, 20 trees at Mount Savage on the side hill back by the well. And then we put in 80 trees at Mountain Ridge. It's an arboretum that Mr. Carter has been, piloting, trying to get going up there. So we put signs in around the trees, and we're going to put in an outdoor classroom. So there's going to be 6 picnic tables. One of them will be ADA compliant, and there'll be a gravel path and a gate so they can get out there up to that site and see those trees that are growing out there.
And if you walk that, the trees are labeled.
Yep.
Tells
Yeah,
you
they-
what type of tree
what type
it
of
is.
tree there
and-
are.
yeah.
There's 80 trees there. There's 20 species, so we only put one sign. We didn't label every tree.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do another planting this fall at Mount Savage. Another 13 trees are going to go in down there. So that's all through urban UCFC. I can't remember all of it. It's for urban forestry grants. So the grants have been paying for that. So,
Thank you, sir.
yes, sir.
I
Thanks.
have a
Thank you.
question.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hey, you're good.
That was all fun stuff. I was just going to ask for like a quick summary of what all is required for a school to be certified and considered green.
Do you want to talk, Amy?
Is it too lengthy? It's okay if it is.
No, it's
Just a few things off
Amy,
the top
I'm
of
looking
your
at
head.
Amy because Miss Duncan here is at Westmore, and she's integral in that process of actually applying and recertifying. It's not an easy process. So it's an application. It's a lengthy application that you have to do. There are 7 areas like recycling and community served. All these things you have to do, and you have to do four of those areas. You have to pick and do 2 things in those areas. So if you're going to do recycling, you have to do at least 2 different types of recycling. So you can do plastic bottles, and you can do cardboard and things like that. So you have to have students do it more than anything. So it's really the students getting involved in the process, and you have to highlight and show pictures of what the kids are doing to make the school green. So it's what the school's doing, the students are doing in the school to make it a green school. So it is a lengthy process. It's not fun to do. It takes a while to gather all the information and send it in, and you have to recertify every 3 years. So it's a ton of work and not much glory when they give you a flag. But it is a good process, and it's good for the students. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well,
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
we're done. Thank you. We're going to move into hearing of constituents. The only person that has signed up is Ms. Sloan, Kimberly Sloan. But before I let you speak, no, you come on up. Quick note, we are not going to do online signing up to speak anymore. You will have to sign up outside in the hall at the sheet that's provided. We decided that as a whole in a meeting here earlier in the month that we are not going to have the online sign up anymore. So anybody that wants to speak is more than welcome to speak. We're glad to hear what you have to say, but sign up when you come in.
It started due to COVID.
Yeah, it started in the COVID, and I think hopefully we're past that. Thank you. Your floor is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, elected members of the board, student member of the board, Mr. Blank, Mr. Llewellyn. As this is the first time that I've addressed you, excuse me, since all the students and staff have returned to our school buildings for a new academic year and summer's officially come to an end, I thought that this was a good juncture to address a couple common misconceptions about educators in summer. First on the list is a myth I hear often that 10-month educators in Allegany County get paid during the summer breaks to do nothing. They do not. As a result, many work summer schools, ESY, which is extended school year, volunteer for curriculum development, or work second or even third jobs. They may also use the time for required professional development by taking college courses or attending workshops or seminars. Additionally, several also work as coaches to prepare our students for fall sports or band competitions with great success. Another misconception is that educators work 7.5 hours a day. To pick up where summer left off, many educators continue their required professional development courses and coaching while commencing the rigorous and rarely routine instructional day. During the instructional day, our educators plan and post lessons for multiple subjects or courses in plan books, maintain their associated Schoology sites with the same, provide or collaborate in the instruction and engagement of content, knowledge for students, attend outdoor school requiring them to travel well outside their assigned school, and often work overtime without additional compensation, manage increasingly challenging student behaviors, communicate with parents, guardians, and essential colleagues regarding students' needs, evaluate and now reevaluate and post grades. But that's just the fundamental basics of the job. In addition to coaching positions, most educators go above and beyond to volunteer to be an advisor to various groups such as Student Government, SHOP, National Honor Society, Teachers Tomorrow Class Advisor, Green Certification for Schools, or a plethora of other groups. We host proms, blood drives, field days, back-to-school fairs, dinners, and trips. To pay for these events involves fundraising, for which the advisor is responsible for every aspect, from planning to delivery to accounting for every last penny. Many also plan field trips, which, like fundraisers, require the educator to take care of all details and prepare substitute lessons for those who choose not to go. Additionally, others agree to share their expertise through robotics, math counts, musical theater, after-school programs, or tutoring, to name a few. Regardless of which, each complements the instruction and provides growth opportunities for students beyond the instructional day. But all this adds up to far more than 7.5 hours, not even counting all the paperwork that goes along with these activities. So with the recent changes to ACPS policy IKA and its regulations, the workload of our educators has been increased. What's more is this policy directives have to be accomplished during their personal time outside of the workday, as nothing was removed from the duties to make these policy changes a priority during the workday. Yet, in the spirit of collaboration, we've arrived at what we hope will be a bearable language compromise on the remaining proposed change to this policy, and will trust that you will appreciate and remember this generous gesture. As should be evident, our educators graciously give their time for our students throughout the year, both in and out of the classroom. While I know that you recognize the achievements of students and staff on a regular basis at these monthly Board of Education meetings, I hope this information helps to clarify these misconceptions for those who were unaware. As always, I invite you as members of this board to participate in a Shadow an Educator for a day, and I thank board members Tammy Fraley and Lori Lepley who have done so. And as they say, you don't truly understand someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes. On behalf of the 865 members of the Allegany County Education Association, several of which are in attendance with me this evening, we thank you for your time and service, and share the hope for a productive and successful year as we continue to strive to make the system the best for both students and staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak that hasn't signed up or what have you? No? Okay. Is there any response from the board? None? We're going to move on to new business. Consider reading of evaluation of students policy, grading policy, file IKA. Mr. Llewellyn.
As promised, this policy's back before you. The only change here is we've added the definition for the term student information system. That is used in the regulation, and so it needed a definition. So this is just a cleanup on this one. This is first reading.
I'll need a motion to approve first reading.
Motion to approve first reading of policy IKA.
Ms. Bender?
I second.
Ms. Lefty? We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved unanimously. We need to consider regulation review of evaluation of students policy IKA. Mr. Llewellyn.
Policy committee worked on IKA some more with regards to reporting student progress. That's on page 2. And you can see that we've added the language, provide student with meaningful feedback on their progress in the course of the week in the student information system. We think that language works, and this is a regulation, so we're just asking for review. And so if the board objects to the change, you have to vote to send it back to policy. If you have no objection, then we just move on.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, we'll move on. Consider a regulation review of school attendance areas, file JC.
This is another policy that seems to just keep coming back. The policy, the only change to this policy is at the very end, as it talks about students who are out of county or out of state, and it talks about the potential for a waiver of tuition in the event of proven financial hardship. That's in practice very problematic, and so the policy committee reviewed this and determined to remove that language, which would mean if you're out of county or out of state, you got to pay tuition to attend county schools without exception. And of note that this is also a regulation, so unless you send it back, then there's no objection, and it flows through.
Any objection? Okay, moving on. Consider regulation review of alcohol, drug, and tobacco-free workplace, GBEC.
The board voted to make some just small changes to the policy. This is consistent with those changes, and all we've added is language saying that the drug test will be appropriate for the position. The policy committee's discussion on that was, obviously, if you have a CDL, the scrutiny of your drug test would be different than somebody who is an administrative assistant, for example. And so this just clarifies the superintendent has that authority to test as appropriate. And again, this is a regulation, so if there's no objection.
Any objection? No objection. Moving on. We need a vote to meet an executive session on November 14th, 2023 is necessary.
I make the motion.
Ms. Bender?
Second.
Ms. Lepley? All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Report of Special Advisory Committee. Student member of the board. Ma'am.
Thank you. So I was able to attend the MAVE conference on October 3rd. Ms. Fraley and Mr. Blank were also in attendance, and I had a great time. So I was a member of the student panel, and I just got to speak about bringing different awarenesses to happenings that are going on in our school system. I brought attention to school safety, school security, support groups, opportunities for students, online learning, etc. So what happened was the audience would inquire questions for our panel, and one of them was about online learning, and the response was somewhat negative from the panel, considering we have been in that place, so we did not have a good response for online learning. But other than that, our KCGA, so the Allegany Association of Student Councils, General Assembly, I was able to speak one-on-one with students in workshops, and I kind of just asked them, like, what would you change? What are some issues that you all have faced and experienced? And number one problem was drug use, and the solution that I've kind of thought about is just increasing security. Most of that goes on at the state level, so that was kind of something that I brought up at MABE. And other than that, perhaps getting a K-9 throughout the week and bringing one of those in, where a police officer once a week just to do a drug check, and then after that just random checks, so we can kind of remove drugs from the premises. I think that would help. But other than that, vape use, that's something that's a lot harder. I mean, drugs are just as bad, but since vapes can be concealed and you can't really, point out where those are, that's a problem. And then another thing is, once students have been found to conceal drugs or vapes, just having a different procedure for that. So something that I've kind of thought about, maybe just having like support group options for mostly students that have been involved in drug use, or counseling, and just different options and resources to help with addiction. That was something that the students were kind of looking at. They were thinking that students that had problems with drugs, that they didn't have any resources for it, or it was an actual struggle or addiction, and it was something that was going on at home. So maybe addressing that problem, instead of just, some students felt like their friends, or if they were speaking from personal experience, that they were more so shunned rather than helped. So just looking at different resources that we can give them to utilize. And then the other thing that's been going on in schools, bigotry, discrimination with a bunch of people, a part of the LGBTQ+ community. I know that in my school that has definitely been going on. So since everything is principal approved, some support groups for LGBTQ+ have not been approved, and that has something that I've heard from many students across the counties. So, or county. So just perhaps implementing that or accepting that, that would be another thing that I would like to address, just to give those people a safety network and some place to go and talk about, so they feel supported. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate you going to MABE and representing Allegany County. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was definitely a great experience getting to speak in front of a bunch of different people throughout the state. So it was really cool, and it was nice because I don't think in the past few years our SMOB has attended MABE. I could be wrong about that,
No,
but so it was a cool experience to kind of represent Allegany County when it's not usually represented, because we're smaller and we're far away from where everything's going on. So it was good. So thank you.
Thank you. Board member updates.
I'd like to.
Ms. Fraley?
So as she said, I did attend the MABE conference. I attended all 3 days of the MABE conference. I also, at the business meeting, was elected to be back on serving on the Maryland Association of Boards of Education elected board. So before I served on that, and it lasts a year, and every year you have to get renewed. And then I was president 2 years ago, and so then I was immediate past president, and then I was off. So then I got a chance to be back on. And now we were losing one person from Garrett County from a Western Maryland perspective, because he had served his 3 years that you can serve without having to take a year off. And so I was nominated and elected to be that for Allegany County, and then there's one from Washington County also that she was off for the last year, and now she's back. So we will have that representation there, and it does really help a lot. And I know Alex, she doesn't give herself enough credit. She was in those meetings and in that panel with some schools that are really, really big. And really have a lot of opportunities and some much more specific issues. But she brought it to light that, every school has the same issues, maybe just at a different scale. So that was something that was very helpful. And as part of being on the May board, we do get the opportunity to nominate, if you will, or recommend people to be on the student boards. And also, I think that, and we've talked about this in the past too, there were more students this year that came to the entire conference, not just the panel, but to the entire conference, and were able to attend the same sessions that the board members attend, and that was very helpful for them. So in the future, I think too that if there's a chance, and I know part of it has to do with it is far away, so there's the responsibility of a student being, in Annapolis for 3 days. So there's some logistics to that that we would probably have to look into, but I think that's something that is helpful. And I know that the students that were able to stay the whole time, they got to commemorate more and learn from each other and go to all these different things. The other thing that I learned in that conference that I wanted to bring here, and I've already given this to Alex too, is that they have the Maryland Center for School Safety. It has a new program that they're launching called Safe Schools Award Program. And so it's part of it having the school involved in the school security, not the school system, but the students. So it's more of a safety program, kind of like, I know they have it at West Side, and I think they have it at South Penn. The school safety, the fifth graders that get to work outside the schools on school safety, that's like a program that I know they have at West Side. This is the same type of thing, but it's giving different levels of awards, so a bronze, a silver, a gold type of thing. So it's kind of like the green schools in that it's making your school safe, but doing it from the student perspective, so that the student's part of that plan and coming up with those ideas. And so they presented this from the Maryland Center for School Safety, and I know that Rumgay has this information too, because it came from that conference that we were at also. So I think that'll be something that the school, the student members, as well as just every school within the student government or something, could look into being part of that, because then it gives you a part of making your school safe. So your idea about the drug dog, for example, would be something that would have been part of that, because it would be a student idea that was brought in that could be part of the school safety club, if you will. So I think that is good information too, and I look forward to the next year being able to be part of MABE again, so that we can let them hear from us more often than they sometimes don't. So it's very helpful. And the other thing, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board members?
I have one thing I'd like to share. I know, but I didn't have a chance to do it in the beginning under superintendent's report. I just wanted to share with the community that Saturday night I had the opportunity to go to a band, I guess it was a contest.
Yeah, it's a home show.
Yeah, the home show. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see our bands, Allegany, Fort Hill, Mountain Ridge, all performed along with several other schools that were in the competition, the band competition. And if you haven't had the opportunity, take time to go see our band. It's rather amazing what our students, and congratulations to our students, how well they're performing, and our band directors and all the volunteers and workers that work with our directors in the band community. It was a great night Saturday night. So, and I know they continue performing, and there's more competitions coming up. So if you have the opportunity, you won't regret going to see if you have that chance to go see that. And also, I'd like to share, Dr. Bond, what day was your surgery?
Um,
Like how many days? How many days ago?
September 29th was the surgery.
Right. So I just want to point out the commitment to be here. I don't know anybody who's would have triple heart surgery and they're still making sure that they're following through, supporting our community and our school system. So thanks for your dedication, Dr. Bond.
Well, thank you, but I would like to say that although I seem so kind and generous, I only have one heart that has triple bypass, not triple heart surgery.
Is that what I said? Triple heart surgery? Yeah, that's a huge mistake on my part. Triple bypass, okay.
But
Yeah.
thanks so much, Jeff. I appreciate that, and I do really enjoy serving the board and helping education of our kids in this county. So,
That's all I have.
If I can just add on the band stuff, I was the announcer for that. That one of those volunteers that announced the entire program. There are home shows for each school that will be separate. So this was the Tournament of Champions or something. So it was an actual competition. But each school, each high school will have a home show where it's open to the public to come in and see, and it's just their show. But those kids truly, it was exciting to see on Saturday because the stands were full like it was a football game. I mean, it was nice. And so please try to do that if you can, because those kids really do a lot and deserve for the community to just be able to see it. And just a side note, Allegany's going for their third year in a row Atlantic Coast Championships, and they would be the only time ever to win 3 years in a row. So they're trying really hard for that too. And Fort Hill moved up a class, so they're also in part of the. So they're going for their second year in a row. So it'll be a very exciting time.
Mountain Ridge did something too last
They did
year.
some. They did
Last
something.
year, they were first.
They just changed.
Because there's all different tiers. They're not going head to head.
They're not going against each other, so it's not like football.
It's hard to tell.
But it is something that's very exciting, and I think it's great for the community.
You have anything else?
Sorry,
You're
no.
done now? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
so moved.
Let him do it.
Dr. Bond, Ms. Bender,
Sure.
all those in favor? Adjourn.